Welcome to the Mindset Gym here with Nordic Mindset. Every week we do this. We go through one of the 32 mindset tools that is inside the Nordic Mindset program. The Nordic Mindset program is a 120-day mindset training program. You see, we believe that the mind is like a muscle. It isn't a muscle, obviously, it's not, but it is like a muscle in that you can train it. You can train new skills. If you want to become very good at playing the piano, you can train that. If you want to become very good at singing, you can train that. If you want to have a strong physique, you can train that. And obviously, it helps to have a personal trainer. That is exactly what Nordic Mindset is, a 120-day mindset training program where you'll have daily video training. You'll have worksheets that you can work on at home, and you'll have weekly sessions or sessions every 8 days with one of our amazing mindset mentors who will guide you, who will support you, who will hold your hand, so to speak, who will motivate you when you're down, who will, let's say, gently kick you in the butt when you're lazy, someone who will help you reach your goals for accountability, for motivation. So every week, we go through one of the mindset tools of Nordic Mindset. And this week, we're going to go through a mindset tool that actually I really needed. You see, when I went through this program myself, I started in October 2023. It was on the back end of a few years with lockdowns and restrictions and no trips out of country and no trips to the movies and no theater and no concerts. So this tool really changed a lot for me. It is very, very simple. But as you may have heard before, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So here's the name of the tool. It's called the 40-day plan. Many people live lives where they just live on repeat. Perhaps you've seen that old movie, Groundhog Day. If you haven't seen it, let me just tell you the premise of the movie. It's a guy who wakes up on the same day at the same time over and over and over and over again. So it's always, let's say, November 3rd. Every day, every morning, November 3rd, no matter what he does the day before, he wakes up the same day. Now, I tell you that because the 40-day plan is a mindset tool that is supposed to help you not have that feeling that you're just reliving the same day over and over again. I once read that you shouldn't live the same life 80 years in a row and then call that a life. We need to evolve. We need to change. We need to challenge ourselves. We need to experience life at its fullest. We need to become the best we can be. We need to do stuff that makes us happy. So after those 2 years or 3 years of lockdowns and restrictions and no travel and no movies and no concerts, I was really ready for a change in my life. So I joined the original Danish version that the Nordic Mindset program is built on. And when I encountered this tool called the 40-day plan, it dawned on me that I had completely stopped doing all those things that made me happy, that gave me good energy, that made me laugh, that made me energized, that made me sing, that made my soul come alive, that made my eyes sparkle. I hadn't gone to concerts in a while because you couldn't. I hadn't gone to movies to a while because you kind of couldn't. I hadn't gone to anybody's birthday for a while because you kind of couldn't. And every time something was planned, I remember my very good friend Mike was supposed to have his 50th birthday party, and it was supposed to be something like 200-300 people in a castle, and it was canceled. I was so bummed out. He's a great guy, and I would have loved to celebrate his birthday. Plus, I'd get to see a bunch of my old friends, but it was canceled, along with so many other things. And then it dawned on me afterwards that I had many years not been planning my happiness. Sometimes I'd gotten an invitation to go see a movie with a friend, or sometimes I had gotten an invitation to a birthday party, or something like that. But I didn't really have a set plan for my happiness in my life. So in the 40-day plan, it's very simple. You are asked in the assignment to write down, looking back a year, maybe 2 years, what experiences have you had where you've just really enjoyed yourself, where you've had a great time, where you didn't look at your watch, you didn't care what time it was, you just had fun, you enjoyed yourself. And then look at also what experience have you had and with who did you have those experiences? So it's both about the experiences, at least it was for me, and it's also about the people. Because sometimes it's experiences that light you up, but other times it's just dinner, but with the right people, right? With the people who make you laugh, with the people who you have fun with the people who challenge you mentally and intellectually. So I started writing down that before COVID, we actually, Millie and I, my wife-to-be, we used to go into Tivoli in Copenhagen, which is I think the oldest amusement park in the world. And we used to have at least one couple's dinner in a very fancy restaurant with my friend Anne and her husband Brian. But after COVID and during COVID, we had stopped and we hadn't really gotten back into it. So that was one of the things that dawned on me. Why aren't we doing that again? It's possible now, right? It was possible then. So why aren't we doing that? It also dawned on me that I used to go to the movies with my kids. We love to do that, sometimes with all of my kids, sometimes with them individually. We used to love to do that. We used to love to take trips to Germany. I used to live quite close to the German border, so we used to take like a day trip, go to the beach, do some shopping, go on the high street, go see some shops, have some nice dinner or some nice lunch, and go back. But because everything was so complicated during those COVID years, I completely forgot. And I wrote down that there were some people that I would definitely have to spend more time with because you can actually plan to be happy. You can plan to be happy by planning things into your life that make you happy. It's not rocket science. It's not surgery. It's just so simple, right? If we do stuff that makes us happy, we'll probably be happier than if we don't do stuff that makes us happy, right? So it's so simple. So I started doing this plan, this 40-day plan, and now I have plenty of things in my 40-day plan. It doesn't have to be just 40 days. I just saw that an old classic, like 70s, 80s, more 80s band from Canada is coming to play in Copenhagen on April 4th next year. The band is called Rush. Maybe you've heard of them. And I just thought to myself, well, first of all, I couldn't believe those guys were still alive. So obviously they have a different drummer, but two of the original band members are still in there. It's just a three-person band. And I got so excited, I called Soren and I said, hey, do you know Rush? And he said, no, what's Rush? I said, well, it's a band. They're amazing. Do you want to go see them with me? So that's in my 40-day plan, even though it's longer than 40 days away. I just went to a concert this Sunday, an outdoors, like a one-day festival where the proceeds go to people with muscular dystrophy. That's it's a Danish festival. It's all over the country. It's about a week every summer, 7 different venues. And I just went there with 2 of my kids, with my beautiful Millie and her kids and their girlfriends. We had a blast. That was also in my 40-day plan. Now listen, could I still have gone to those things? Yeah, probably. But the act of planning it, the act of actually taking out a pen, getting it onto a piece of paper, making it clear to yourself, hey, this is what lights my soul. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me smile. These are the people I love spending time with. I want to spend more time with these people. When you start having a commitment and a plan, to live out those things that light your soul and that make you happy, those things that energize you, when you do more of that, yes, your life changes for the better. Listen, the entire purpose of all the tools of Nordic Mindset is obviously to give you the tools and the skills. So tools is that you know what to do. Skills is that you're doing it. It's that you're training it and that you're becoming better at it. The entire purpose of Nordic Mindset is to train those skills into you so that it's just natural to you the next time that you have a couple's dinner. You're going to ask yourself automatically, did I have a good time with these people? And when am I seeing them again? Because we need to surround ourselves. And by the way, this is one of the life principles of Nordic Mindset. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who make you smile, who make you happy. Can I just get a thumbs up if you agree that way too often we see people spending time with people who do nothing good for them? They have a negative image about themselves. They don't do anything fun. They tear other people down. They have no drive or ambition. They have no dreams. They talk poorly about other people. They gossip. They speak about war, inflation, famine. It's Trump's fault. It's Putin's fault. It's the Israelis' fault. It's the Iranians' fault. It's this fault. It's that fault. It's the weather's fault. It's the politicians' fault. It's the news's fault. All they ever do is talk about whose fault it is and what's wrong. I'm so sad for these people because they're missing out on life. We are shaped by our thoughts. This is why one of the fundamental tools of Nordic Mindset is gratitude training. When you train your gratitude, you shift your focus to what is good in your life, to what you like, to what you love. But most people spend so much time on what they're against instead of what they are for. And in this exercise of the 40-day plan, it is really your opportunity. It is your job as we teach this tool to you and train you in this skill of planning your happiness, that you start to put more energy into events, situations, and people who make you happy. And I'm not saying that you should just follow your lusts and desires. I'm saying have a plan, a well thought out, rational, intelligent plan for your own happiness. Because it is possible to plan to be happy. And I just want to tell you, if you don't plan this yourself, you might fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they got planned for you? Not much. So it's better that you come up with your own conscious, deliberate, intelligent plan so that your happiness isn't dependent on opportunities that just come out of just arise, that it isn't dependent on chance, that it isn't dependent on something, a coincidence that just happens, but that you have a plan for your happiness. When's the last time you saw your best friend? And make sure that your best friend is someone who lifts your spirit, that it's not just your best friend because it's your best friend and it's been your best friend for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Make sure that your best friend, the people around you, are people who lift you up. We have a tool for that called the Circle of Trust, where we actually we help you look at who do you have in your life. Are these people that you have closest to you, are they lifting you up? Or are they dragging you down? Are they making you believe in your dreams, in yourself, in your opportunities? Or are they making you question everything and even fear things? Are you surrounding yourself with people who cheer you on or who hold you back? And as I was going through the Nordic Mindset, the original Danish version of it myself about 3 years ago, and going through the 40-day plan, I really thought to myself, wow, no wonder I'm miserable all the time. I don't do anything that's fun anymore. I go to work, I come home, I go grocery shopping, I fix dinner, I eat, I clean the kitchen, I collapse on my couch, and then the next morning, it's repeat. sort of like that movie I was telling you about. Every day is not the same day, but it feels like the same day because it's just a repeat of boring things. So now I'm much better at planning fun activities. This Thursday, we have a dinner with my sister-in-law and her husband and my wife and sister-in-law's parents. Arranged. It's a barbecue. I'm looking forward to that. That's in my 40-day plan. Why? Because I love hanging out with those people. I'm very deliberate about who I spend my time with. I hope you are too. This Friday, I have another dinner. I'm not out every night. Don't worry, I'm not. But this Friday, I have a dinner with some people that I go to church with because that's important to me. So what you do with your time, what you plan into your schedule, will determine how you feel. So make it a good plan. The 40-day plan has done a lot of good for a lot of people. I'm one of them. If you have any experiences with the 40-day plan, or if this tool has somehow helped you get more into activities and events and people who make you happy, I would love to hear about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please leave a comment below if this makes sense to you, because we will post this tonight. If you're watching live, send me give us a thumbs up in the comments section, or in the what's it called? The reactions. If it makes sense to you that unless you plan something fun once in a while, life gets really boring. I mean, you can't just sit around waiting for something fun to happen. You should plan those fun things into your life. And that's what the 40-day plan is all about. Because we want our clients, the clients of Nordic Mindset, we want you to live life. We want you to have fun. We want you to be happy. You love it so much. I see you're sweating over it, Veronica. All right. Looks like you're on a treadmill. Thanks for joining. All right. Which reminds me, I should get back in the gym. Thank you for that reminder, even though I'm not that happy to hear it, to be honest with you. So yeah, it makes sense, right? If you don't plan, it's just like your fitness. If you don't plan it into your life, you're probably not going to do it, and then you're probably not going to reap the benefits of going to the gym. If you don't plan your happiness, those events, concerts, movies, a fishing trip. Maybe it's just a walk with your best friend. Maybe it's a trip to the beach with a bunch of friends, but maybe it's just sitting in silence, contemplating or reading a book, if that is something that makes you happy. I just, by the way, read a quote by Seneca that I wanted to share with you. Seneca was a Roman philosopher. And Seneca said something that doesn't really relate to this topic, and I just want to share it with you anyway. He or she who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. And said in other words, if you sit around worrying too much, overthinking too much, imagining worst-case scenarios, and what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if the sun doesn't rise tomorrow, and what if there's a flood, what if there's a hurricane? You're giving yourself misery by imagining worst-case scenarios. I just read that quote like 5 minutes before I joined you guys. He or she who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. I wanted to share it today because I thought it was really, really, really clever. And we have several tools in Nordic Mindset who teach you, who train you to become more present in the moment, more grateful, more grounded, not to have these mental time travel trips where you imagine the worst case scenarios of the future or think back at all your traumas and your problems of the past. So I have a couple of minutes left. And this will be on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central European Time. So if you invited someone who wasn't able to make it today, who wants just to get a little taste of what Nordic Mindset is all about, tell them that they can find it on the Nordic Mindset YouTube channel later. I wanted to tell you two things. So next week on Wednesday, it's actually my day off next week. So you will have the pleasure of being trained by the one and only, the founder, Soren. And he's going to talk to you about impulsive thoughts, those thoughts that come up out of nowhere and that can seem like they occupy your mind. How do you get rid of those thoughts, right? How do you get those thoughts out of your head? How do you start to focus on something that makes you happy instead? So that's one thing that I wanted to share with you. That next week it's Soren who is doing the training, and I will of course miss you guys, but I have other plans that day, and I actually can't wait. So I see a lot of
Yes,
beautiful.
Michael,
Yes, Yahaya, what can I do for you?
I wanted to share about the tool and how I've seen it
Absolutely.
work.
Sure.
So with me, I would love to just focus back. I think last year around December, when you mentioned about the Forte plan that you're planning to wed off your wife
Yeah.
in this very year, and I think that's just a simple glimpse of a reflection of how these tools are really applicable into our lives.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
you have to plan to be happy.
yeah,
I mean, if you don't plan your happiness, you'll fall into somebody else's plan, and maybe they don't have that much planned for you because they're thinking about their happiness, right? You really have to plan stuff out yourself, something you want to be doing that makes you happy. And it's not selfish to be happy. You'll be a better person if you sometimes plan something for yourself. I'm not saying that you should be happy at the expense of other people. Of course not. The best thing would be if you could plan your own happiness, and that would make other people happy also. That would be amazing. So the one thing I wanted to share with you was that Soren is coming on next week because it's my day off, and I now am completely zoned out because I can't think of the other thing I wanted to tell you because that's just going to be a cliffhanger for 14 days from now. I think in 14 days, I will be back and I will speak about the eulogy. What are people going to say about you when you're no longer here? Are they going to say something good? I hope they are. Um, but in order for that to happen, you have to have a plan. You have to live life in a certain way so that people, when you are no longer here, actually say something good about you. So that's what we'll cover in 2 weeks from now when I will be back. But next week, it's Soren who's hosting the Nordic Mindset Live. And I just want to tell you all that I was happy to be here with you today. This is actually part of my 40-day plan because I like sharing tools. I like sharing this wisdom that Soren has collected for us. And you'll get to hear from him, the man himself, next week, who is writing like a madman on his new book, The Missing Link in Psychology. I think at least that's the title that he's thinking about. I like it. It sounds really like it makes me curious. What is the missing link? I don't know what that is. It makes me curious. You can perhaps share with him next week if you like that title. I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell you, actually, but I just did. But hey, thank you all for being here. If you feel like it, you can unmute yourselves and say goodbye or have a nice day in your own language. And I will see you next week. And I'll start.
Buona,
Arigato.
buona giornata.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. That's nice.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael, thank you. Grazie mille, Michael.
Then, yeah, prego.
Webale.
Oi, vale. See you guys. See you next week. Oh, in 2 weeks. And
Bye.
see Soren next week. Bye, guys.
Ciao.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Asante.